Kelly's Eye, brought to you by Ellis Brown Architects.
Peter, what's Kelly's Eye looking at today?
Today, David, I suppose I'm virtually looking at the Great Wall of China.
I think not. Yeah. Certainly there are walls either side of us, but the scale is somewhat different.
Well, true, but we are on the Isle of Man. I mean, we're not on the other side of the world. It's a stone wall. It's a new stone wall. In fact, they're still building it beyond and beyond and beyond. They've been building it for quite some time. It's beside, if I say new roadworks, it's an old road that they've widened. On the other side, there's a field with a nice crop of yellow DOT vehicles. Nobody actually doing anything in there, but that's where they're all parked. And then here we are. There's a roundabout down to our right, and if we were to go up another quarter of a mile, we'll find another one. We're on Vicarage Road, and I thought we'd just have a look at this stone wall because I find it remarkable in a way. We're used to seeing dry stone walls throughout the island, particularly up on the mountains and what have you. But here, if you just turn around and look at it, it's built out of the smallest stones I've ever come across.
Yes, it's smaller than most dry stone wall, and it's not exactly dry stone wall either, is it?
No, there's a bit of a dry mix of concrete in there. It's actually double-faced because behind this wall where we're standing, there's a cul-de-sac of houses, so they've got a faced wall the same as here. So in fact what they've done using these stones, which may only be 6 inches or less going in deep, they've built a sort of cavity, but the cavity's been filled with concrete. And I rather think it's the same on the other side, despite the fact that it's just an agricultural field. It's two-sided. That, of course, could be looking towards the future when maybe it won't be an agricultural field. But it's just the fact that in all the other stone walls you see the stones are 18 inches long or 2 foot or whatever. And here we are, when you look at these, that one's 4 inches, that one's 2 inches, that's an inch. I mean, the gaps are sort of filled. It's more like a jigsaw puzzle than a wall.
And it does look very attractive. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I mean, there are large stones here and there, but generally speaking, it is pretty small.
Small, yeah.
And extremely well built.
Well, yes, I would imagine if it didn't have the concrete in behind, a wall of this size of stone, it wouldn't stay up.
No.
You haven't got the bonding, so it's relying greatly on it. Then on the top, we've got the vertical stones set in, a little bit of white spar there. I have an idea, a lot of this stone has come from Dreams, Kerry, and there's possibly been more than one stonemason, well, obviously more than one man, but more than one firm on it over the years. Somebody mentioned Stone 2000, but Bruce Hannay was telling me certainly the bit that's being done at the moment, I think it's one of the demolition firms are the contractors. Obviously they've got stonemasons with them, which is a great shame to think that they're pulling down these houses on Douglas Promenade and elsewhere in stone, to think that ends up being crushed to become smaller stone or dust, and yet here we are expending fuel, energy, money, carving stone out of the ground, shipping it in from Macclesfield, when a lot of that other stone would have been quite suitable for some of this work. But that seems to be the way the world is going. It's not quite recycling in the sense of the old pop bottles.
It is, though, a very expensive way of bordering a road, isn't it, I think? Because you're talking here craftsmanship more than tradesmanship.
Well, you are, and when you look at it, what do you see?
When you see stone wall.
You see 2 parallel stone walls and nothing else. So it may be attractive in one sense, make a very good black and white photograph section of it, but is this the same as you would get in the countryside? You wouldn't have stone walls this high, you'd have hedges, you'd have growth, but in fact what you've got here is something actually quite sterile.
The other thing that might happen to it, of course, is that where there's a lot of iron in the stone, sometimes that tends to start running down the walls, isn't it?
It is, but then there's a sign at the bottom of the road and it says, "Beware raised ironwork."
Many of the most iconic buildings around the island have been designed by Ellis Brown Architects. Keep up with Ellis Brown today on Facebook or via ellisbrown.im.